We are on episode 10 of season 3 of Tales from the Darkside. Deliver us from goodness on our journey to review every single episode of Tales from the Darkside, which means we review the good ones, the bad ones, the ones in between, and even the ones written by Joel Selbo. And this one is written by Joel Selbo. You know what you're going to get. Screaming parents. Characters making unfunny jokes and screaming at the top of their lungs the entire episode.
Because you're a saint, you think you can do anything?
You know, she has done a few, like The Shrine, that aren't exactly like that, but it's usually because it's based on a story by someone else. In this case, it is based on a story by someone else. Suet Al-Jin. But yet Joel Selba puts her extra touches into it and still has people scream at the top of her lungs. Get your funny bone out and then start hitting yourself in the head with it, because this is an unfunny episode. So Valerie Cantrell is the main character, and she mysteriously gets some powers. She has been sainted and can now grant miracles. What miracles does she grant at first? Well, at first she makes a bucket of chicken fall from the sky onto a guy's plate. Then her daughter is talking about how she wants to be Cleopatra for the school play and wants to have an amazing costume to blow everyone away. Well, she just wrinkles her nose and snaps her fingers, and her daughter is dressed up like Cleopatra. And her husband Julian is also running for mayor. But like we always get with these, the jokes just aren't very funny and everyone's yelling the entire time. But why am I telling you about this? I'll just show you. Here you go. Yes, indeed. Make it stop. Actually, we're only 7 minutes into this episode. We're continuing. So she goes to this priest and realizes that she's a saint and can grant people miracles. So what does she do with this gift? Does she try to get money? That's what everybody wants. I mean, wouldn't you just make money fall from the sky? Who wouldn't want to do that? But for some reason, she doesn't actually want to be a saint and doesn't want to grant any miracles. I mean, the only one she's granted so far is dressing her daughter as Cleopatra and having an obvious bucket of KFC, though they couldn't show the logo, fall from the sky. So she decides to break the 10 Commandments. Now here we actually have a plot that could be engaging. Well, I think it's kind of silly. She doesn't want to be a saint and doesn't try more things. It would have been better if some of the miracles she granted backfired. Because right now, all the miracles she grants completely work and work out fine. It's not even like a bedazzled situation where she makes a bucket of chicken and then realizes that the chicken tastes like sawdust. But okay, she don't want to be a saint. She don't want to grant miracles. She's just a homely housewife and wants to go... her accent is enraging too. She talks like this the entire time.
This is being a saint.
Why did Joel Selby give her a southern accent? Because it's funnier that way, I guess. Well, it's not funnier that way, but she thought it would be. But she decides to break the 10 Commandments. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we can go into some darker territory, or maybe there could be some funnier stuff that could happen. Add a little edge to this episode. Here's actually a list of the 10 Commandments, just in case any of you guys forgot. I mean, I know them by heart, but I know there's some heathens out there that need a reminder. Now, the one that's the most interesting that would stick out for an episode like this is Thou Shalt Not Kill, right? This is Tales from the Darkside. She has to go kill someone, right? So that could be kind of like interesting. There could be some drama. No, they just kill bugs. That's it. It's Joel Selbo, of course. You get the tamest interpretation of this possible. I was like, okay, Thou Shalt Not Kill. She might have to like kill her next door neighbor, or there could be some drama. She gets arrested. No, of course not. They just kill bugs. So after trying these sins and doing it in such a lighthearted and pathetic way, she's just not sinning enough. So she calls in the big guns. Her friend Ruby, who's a real bad girl, played by Mary Louise Wilson, who was in 1989's Pet Sematary. But her role in this is quite terrible. Seems like this role was supposed to be played by like a younger, hotter chick who's kind of a bad girl, but Tales from the Darkside's casting decisions are mind-numbing, so it's a unattractive, older hippie who they do way too many close-ups of. And she tells her to be much more of a bad girl. In this case, be more prideful, boast, say you're the greatest, because God really, really hates that. It talks a lot about how pride is a terrible sin in the Bible. So she begins boasting to her family that she is the saint, she's the greatest, and starts hanging up these signs.
The mayor, and you're twirling a baton.
And that's pretty much where the episode ends. An interesting concept, even if you were going to go the more comedic route. Mentioned bedazzled before. That's kind of devil grants you wishes and they go badly. In this case, you're a saint, but you don't want to be a saint anymore, so you gotta sin. But just come up with better examples besides just killing bugs. And for Thou Shalt Not Steal, what does she steal? She steals her daughter's Bruce Springsteen shirt. That's it. I mean, these examples are so bad. So I think Deliver Us from Goodness is going to get a 3. It's between a 2 and a 3, but I really want to reserve the 1s and 2s for ones that are 100% unwatchable. There's at least a scene in here where she tries to seduce the preacher that's almost funny. So I'm going to give it a 3. It's a low 3 though. Alright, let's look at some user reviews for the episode Deliver Us from Goodness. Starting off, really high score, 4 out of 10. I would have given it a 3 out of 10, but okay. Weak. You will probably forget about this episode 10 minutes after you see it. I never forget a Joel Sebel episode. Actually, you may hope to forget it while you're watching it. It's just another weird, boring episode that's becoming par for this series as a whole. Third season is taking a bit of a dive. Where was Romero? That's what I was wondering. Romero, during the creative meetings for this series, did not care. I can't picture him enjoying these things either. Yeah, he wasn't really involved in it. If you think he was like looking through every single script, no. He slapped his name on it, wrote a couple episodes that were all really good, and, was directing the big Hollywood movies. What, Day of the Dead? Is that what he was doing at the time? 85. Tales from the Darkside, Deliver Us from Goodness. Well, certainly not without its originality in regards to sainthood. Yeah, at least she didn't become like a devil like everyone else does. You're a devil and you have powers. This episode of Tales from the Darkside once again goes the comedic route and has mixed results. I think the show is always at its best when trying to chill your bones, but I don't want to be shoehorned. But it didn't want to be shoehorned into one specific area. Who knows? Can we get some interviews from like the person who actually chose the episodes? Like, why did you decide to do this? Wow, everyone's giving it a 4. One of the series' worst due to its lame script. Oh, there's worse episodes. They simply seem out of place, and it just didn't fit due to its lame and odd, uneven script. What sort of person refers to the Buddha as a not a very attractive god? That's a Joel Sebel joke. Yeah, she tries to like pray to Buddha so that the Christian God will hate her. This is paired with some over-the-top performances. Jane Addams, in particular, put a lot of effort into needlessly screaming. It's a Joel Sebel episode. They have to. Screechy girl seems to be a motif in Joel's. Oh, you noticed this too. Who is this saint? Somebody you might know. Ben? Screechy girl seems to be a motif in Joel Sebel's body of work throughout the series. See Grandma's Last Wish. Yep, and Doodles. Perhaps the director was the one who elicited this to distract audiences from noticing the limited sets, effects, and weak story. Nope, Joel Sebel goes in there and tells everyone to scream. And they go, "You're not directing this episode," and then she pushes them aside. She goes, "I don't care." It's funny when people go, "Boo!" Joel Sebel's like, "I told those at the church bake sale, and they loved it. So we're going to do it on network television." It's contender for the worst ever episode of Tales from the Darkside. Well, I'll make my top 10 at the end. Best and worst. Who's going to get worst? With Monsters, it was an easy one for Habitat just because it started blaring sirens at me every 4 seconds. I'm not sure what's going to get the worst. Tales from the Darkside. Yeah, Grandma's Last Wish might be the worst so far. Wow, 3 out of 10. Oh, here we go. 10. Obviously, it's the best. There's always one. Ronnie Bailey. Oh, Woody Anders. I'm not even reading yours. Alright, let's forget about that episode because the next one is episode 11, the highest rated episode of Tales from the Darkside in existence. It's called Seasons of Belief. It's written by, you know who it is, the guy who's come to kick ass, chew bubblegum, and write and direct a great Tales from the Darkside episode, Michael McDowell, with a respectable 7.9 rating on IMDb, the highest rated episode, and I also think it's really good. It has the best ending we've seen so far, a shocking ending. An ending that shows that Tales from the Darkside actually can do really good special effects if they want to. Oh, it's also a Christmas episode too, but we're not going to release it around Christmas. So we got to keep this ball rolling, trying to finish this series by the end of the year. So check that one out, and check out our playlist for all episodes of Tales from the Darkside. We've done all of them so far. Black Mirror, we're on season 2. Cowboy Bebop, and Mystery Science Theater, which actually is going pretty well, which I'm happy because that would suck to cover all 230 episodes, have no one watch. Thanks a lot, and see you next week.
Lone Star dreams glow bright through the Texas night. Hopes take flight.